I think I need your opinion on something. And please pardon this bizarre wolf behind me. Still at my dad's house. Totally taken over his table and turned it into my new office. Anyway, let's talk about the 9 to 18mm Olympus lens. Because I think I need a reality check, possibly. On paper, this lens is terrible. It's very slow, it's very plasticky, it isn't stabilised, it isn't weather sealed, it has that annoying clippy thing that packs it down. So, why on earth is it my second favourite lens ever? Somebody knock some sense into me. This is sort of a review / discussion about specs versus results, because the images I get from this lens I just love. Some of my favourite images in the last 12 plus months have come from the Olympus 9 to 18. But at the same time I always feel a bit weird recommending it to people, because all of the things that I usually value, like stabilisation, weather sealing, build quality, this has none of that. Not a sniff of build quality is to be had with this lens. It's quite overpriced for what it is, I think, and it's quite old now. I'll leave a link below so you can have a look at the current prices and things. But I cannot deny that the results are brilliant, and I think the quality of the optics are really, really deceiving given the sort of casing that it's in, which looks quite entry level. I used to have, back in my full frame days, a Zeiss f4 24-70. Cost me an arm and a leg, over £1,000, and the barrel distortion was atrocious. Like, you take a picture in a room and the walls would come out. My arms don't curve. My walls would come out like a fisheye. And the barrel distortion in that sort of lens was horrendous, and that's much more of a narrower focal length than the 9 to 18. The 9 to 18 has a slight amount of barrel distortion, but nowhere near as bad as some of the lenses I've had in the past. So I think it's fantastic for optics, sharpness, pointing it at the sun as I like to do. Everything, all the different places. I've been to the desert, I've been to the snow, I've been to the rainy Isle of Man, I've took it on loads of walks, and it's performed admirably in every single situation. Can't really complain at that, can you? Even though on paper it's a bit naff. So, here is my question to you. If I get good photographs out of it, can I recommend this lens in good conscience to anyone that asks, given that it lacks so many bloody features compared to other lenses? Does it matter that it's slow and plasticky and a bit entry level build quality if the images that you can get out of it are brilliant? Let me know. I bought this to go on my G7, and neither of those things are stabilised, but they are so light together. Like, sometimes when I have it on my Black Widow camera strap thing, I sometimes have to look down to check that the camera's still attached because I'm so paranoid that it's gone. And for walking about and things, I think that light setup is brilliant. And I even like that the lens packs down because it doesn't hit anything like my bag or anything. So I think it's really handy. I like it for walking about and for travel. And I like that when it packs down in the bag, you could probably fit an extra lens in because you have that extra space to play with. I also love that the front element is really, really flush against the glass. So, I mean, the front plasticky bit is right close to the glass, because traditionally this sort of focal length you do struggle to get filters on it because you'll get really bad vignetting. The circular polarizers will only work in patches because the focal length is so wide. But I've used the circular polarizer with this and all the ND filters with this numerous times, and I think the results are great. And I wonder whether that's because you can get the filter physically close enough to the glass that you don't get the problems traditional wide-angle lenses get. Maybe. I may have made that up, but that's my theory and I'm sticking to it. And it isn't fast, but for wide-angled landscapes or travel photography, I've never once really needed it to be fast, and it's not fast. It's f4 to f5.6, and that's pretty slow by anyone's standards. But I've never once really needed it to be fast because I use it for landscape photography, wide-angle kinds of shots, and I appreciate it being stopped down slightly because it makes everything really sharp. And those times that I've used for interior shots, like it's really good for venue shots, and I imagine it'd be really good for real estate and things. You can stick it on a tripod and just use a longer exposure time. So I've not found that to be a limitation. I mean, would I like it to be faster? Yes, of course I would, always. But it's not really impeded me at all, and I've always got good results from it. It's sharp all the way to everywhere. I've never used a lens hood with it. I don't know if it came with a lens hood because I bought it second hand, but I have seen photographs of this model with a lens hood, so maybe it should come with one. But bear in mind, every photograph that you've seen in this review now has never had a lens hood. I've always shot it at the sun or wherever I fancy, and it's always performed amazingly. I think the wide angle lens sort of category in Micro Four Thirds is really slim on the ground. You have the Lumix equivalent, which I think is 7 to 17, possibly. I'll correct that if I'm wrong. I am quite regularly wrong. But between them, those are really the only two options in the sort of telephoto and not prime sense that I can think of. And I would love for a third-party manufacturer just to come in, like Sigma or Maker or anyone else, to come in and make something that would be a viable option and really get some more sort of variation in this focal length, because 25mm, 60mm, you have options for days in Micro Four Thirds, but this end of the spectrum, there's very little to choose from. And I wish that would change, don't you? Am I missing any? Is there any that I don't know about? Because I'll probably buy it. Anyway, it's kind of a review, kind of just a discussion on the weirdness of this stupid lens that could be perfect if it was completely different. If you have used it and own it, let me know your experiences. If you've used the Lumix equivalent, let me know. And if there's any other lenses in this focal length that I'm not aware of, I would love to learn about them. So let's get chatting below, and as always, I shall get back to you. Thank you for watching. Say goodbye to the weird wolf. See you soon, and goodbye.